Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Little Sports Updates here, back again with another video. So today's topic is Devonte Wyatt potentially going to the Chargers in the draft. So, kind of wanted to touch on some prospects who I think the Chargers have a realistic shot of getting. Now, you know, some of these guys, their draft stocks are like really flying up, you know, in this last, 72 to 48 hours. So there are going to be guys who are going to go very high that the Chargers are not going to have reach at 17. So, but still the possibility of trading up and all that stuff is going to happen. So I still wanted to cover some guys, especially as we get into it. We're in the closing stages of draft week, and the draft is going to be here on Thursday. So let's get into it for a little bit. So Devonte Wyatt, defensive tackle out of Georgia, 6'3", 315 pounds. Pretty standard size for a bigger, more athletic tackle, defensive tackle. That's pretty much what guys are now. Much bigger, much athletic than even 10 to 15 years ago. So Devonte Wyatt had 2021 stats, 7 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and I think he had 18 solo tackles as well too. Now, statistics for defensive tackles are not really the main focus, and they're not really a thing that a lot of people are going to base somebody's potential NFL, their stardom or whatever. You're not basing that off of the stats, the college stats. And even in the NFL, you're not really, doing, stats for defensive tackles. Aaron Donald is the guy who made that possible because his stats are through the roof, and, he, a lot of sacks and tackles for loss and all that stuff. But before then, it's about the impact that defensive tackles have, and you can have an impact all game without having a solo tackle or without having a sack as well too. So defensive tackle is just about your physical presence that you have in the middle of the defense, and that's very much what the Chargers need, and they can use it from a variety of guys in this draft, but it is about the impact that you have in the middle of the field. And Devonte Wyatt's impact was very strong for the Georgia Bulldogs this past season. He's a guy, he really has some great hands. And as far as pass rush goes, he is clear, in a way the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the draft. His pass rushing moves are very impressive for a guy who's that big. His hands are fantastic, and I think that is one of the most underrated things that anybody could look at as far as pass rushing goes. It's your hands. And if you're a Charger fan, you understand this. You see Joey Bosa do it all the time. His hands are amazing. His brother does it as well too, Nick Bosa for the Niners. The Bosa brothers, they have the best hands of pass rushers that I've ever seen. I think I might have said this on the video before. Their hands are incredible. It looks like magic. Like they are able to get past a guy with just using their hands, and there's very little physicality and stuff. They can really, I've seen Joey Bosa do it several times where he'll come up on a tackle or a guard. The guard will have his hands out like that, and he's able to somehow close the tackle's hands and then go around him. Like it really is incredible. It looks like magic. Like there's no like real physical brutality with it. It's just like it's like a trick or something. And I've seen Devonte Wyatt do that several times. Especially if you go through his tape, you can see him do that. He has fantastic hands for a pass rushing defensive tackle. So I think that definitely is that sets him apart from everybody else. He really is a great pass rusher. At this point, even not even been in the NFL yet, he's a great pass rusher. He's going to be able to do that from day one. His get off the line too is really something else. His timing, on the snaps, and his ability to be able to time a snap count is really amazing as well too. That was one of the things I noticed in the national championship game. As the game went on, his get off got stronger, and to me, that is elite. That's elite status right there. Now Bryce Young was a freshman for Alabama Crimson Tide, but he was able to time that. He was able to see what their snap count was. He was able to get get a little beat on it, and then be able to get off the line very quickly and stand up the guard, stand up the tackle, not allow not allow the running back to penetrate the A gap, the B gap, whatever gap that he was in at the point at that time. He was able to do that, just based off of his get off, and just based off of him anticipating the snap count again, which is elite, very elite stuff. When you think of that, you think of Warren Sapp. Obviously, you think of Aaron Donald. You think of the guys who are able to make their presence felt and cause havoc before the play is even able to materialize. That's what Devonte Wyatt did all season long, and that was definitely impressive. I think he is very, very athletic as well too. I think he's athletic in the trenches. Now, as far as his numbers go, like I don't really, if I'm covering a wide receiver, defensive back, whatever, then the 40 time, all of that stuff matters. When you're covering a defensive end, you have to watch the tape. You have to watch their tendencies. You have to watch how polished they are. Just working in a line of scrimmage, you have to watch how polished they are working, against, talent that is as good as them, right? So you can watch the Alabama game. You can go back to other games. You can go back to the LSU games where he's playing against other guys who are now in the NFL. You see how he stands out athletically. That is something that you really don't see too often really in college, as far as the athlete standpoint at the defensive tackle position. But he looked athletic in the trenches all season long. There were times where he was beaten on plays, but his athleticism allowed him to go to another level. Even though he was beaten on the play, even though he was as far as offensive line stats go, quote unquote pancakes, he was able to get off blocks and still be able to make plays after that. So that again is impressive. His motor seems to be really good as well too. He's a guy, he's not too, he's not running around like a chicken with his head cut off, but his motor is very, very good. And he seems to be a guy, he's already figured out, and that's the thing with a lot of these guys, sometimes where you'll get praised for, he has a motor and he is just going and going and going and going. Like, that's all good and dandy and all that stuff for the press and all that. But as far as you playing in an actual game, you need to conserve energy. And your motor needs to be running on, plays, when you're actually playing. But when you're not, you need to tone it down a little bit, be able to catch your breath, and refocus and regroup and do it again, the following play. And he seems to have already figured that out. He's not just running around just wasting energy just because. Like, his motor is high on these plays, and then he goes back to the huddle, gathers himself, and then he's able to do it again. That's why he's able to affect the game from the first play all the way to the last play. That's another thing that defensive linemen need to understand. And I see a lot of, and I'm not hating on the guy, but Max Crosby for the Raiders, everybody's talking about his motor and he's doing all this and he's running around and all this stuff. There's a lot of times where he's gassed. There's a lot of times where his motor is running too high and he will rush, on the inside when he should take the outside, and then now you give up a 15, 20-yard run. It's just the little things like that. Your motor has to be high when you are playing, but when you're not playing, you don't need to be running around and, getting all psyched out and, hyping yourself up and burning yourself out, during the game. So that's one of the things that I've noticed, watching the games and watching some of his take back. He is very composed as a defensive tackle, and that is definitely a positive. Now, the only thing about him, Devonte Wyatt, my chief concern is he the product of the Georgia system? And by that I mean so much talent up front, right? Is he the product of the attention, the constant attention that Jordan Davis got? So was he able to do everything that he did because of the attention that Jordan Davis got? Because of the attention that Trayvon Walker got, as an edge rusher. They even kicked him inside a little bit sometimes as well too on the third downs. But was he was he the recipient of so much attention that other guys got? Because even when you were watching, the Georgia Bulldogs play, whatever, they might mention his name every now and then, but Jordan Davis got a lot of the press. Nakobe Dean got a lot of the attention. Walker got a lot of the attention. They didn't talk too much about Devonte Wyatt. So was he the recipient? Was he the recipient that benefited from all the attention? It's too early to tell. He hasn't obviously been drafted yet, and he hasn't taken a snap in the NFL yet. But I think it is a fair question to ask: is he the beneficiary of all of the talent on the Georgia defense? That would be my chief concern. Now, if I was forced to answer the question, I would say no. But like I said, we don't know that for sure. We will know for sure, because if the Chargers were fortunate enough, if this guy was able to fall, or if Tom Telesco was able to, get up in the draft, trade up maybe 6 or 7 spots or whatever, would he be worth the draft pick? In that situation, would he even be worth the trade? Trading up for, based off of what I said, was he the recipient of that? So can he do the same things at the next level? Can he do the same things in the NFL level? Now, for the Chargers, I think a lot of teams, if you're looking at him, if you are a team like, I don't know, the Jets or the Giants or some, one of these teams who are not very good, then I think that concern really is something that you would really think about and take into consideration. But the Chargers are in a very great space as far as the talent along the defense goes, the talent along the defensive line goes. So if he was the recipient, if he was the beneficiary of Jordan Davis, the other guys on that defense, all of the other first-round picks who are on that defense, if he was the beneficiary of it, then he will be the beneficiary of Joey Bosa. He will be the beneficiary of Khalil Mack. He will be the beneficiary of Sebastian Joseph Day. Austin Johnson, the guys that the Chargers acquired. The improved secondary as well too. He will be the beneficiary of that too. So he would be in a similar position to what he was in college, with a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. So if he's in a similar situation that he was in college, then you can expect the similar type of play that he had. He gave the Georgia Bulldogs. So I think that is the unique position that the Chargers are in this draft. All these other questions that other teams are going to bring up, they don't really apply to what the Chargers have right now. And all of the talent that they have acquired over the offseason, that doesn't really apply to the Chargers. So I think that is something that, if you're Tom Telesco, if you're in the draft, the war room and stuff, that's kind of the thing that you're looking at. All these other teams have questions, and they are, real, legit questions that they have, but we don't have those same questions. We're not concerned about our pass rush. We're not concerned about, who we have up front now. He can benefit just the way that he benefited at Georgia. He's not going to, be expected to come in and be Aaron Donald on day one. He's not going to come in and be expected to be, anybody else, any other, defensive tackle who has, dominated in the league. He's not going to be expected to do any of that. He's going to be expected to come in, contribute and help the pass rushers get to the quarterback, right? Eat up blocks in the middle. He's going to be expected to come in and, get off of blocks and, stop the opposing team's run game. That's the type of stuff that he's going to be asked to do. He's not going to be asked to do what Aaron Donald does. He's not going to be asked to get 15 sacks a season. He's not going to be asked to do that. So in that situation, a player like him would be perfect for the Chargers because the pressure would be low. There's already going to be, 2 veteran defensive tackles that the Chargers acquire. Those are guys that he can learn from, bam, on day one, right? Mini camp and all that stuff. He can start learning from them immediately. So there would not be a whole lot of pressure on Devonte Wyatt to come in and be a dominant star, to be a Pro Bowler, to be all pro. That wouldn't exist in the situation that the Chargers are currently in right now. So I think that is definitely a positive. And as far as, pretty much goes for any of the available guys or the perceived available guys at number 17. If the Chargers stay there, you're not going to have to come in and dominate. You're just going to have to come in and fill a role that, the Chargers need you to fill, right? It could be anything, even if it's a speed receiver, run the long routes, stretch the defense out, whatever. But you're not going to be counted on to have 100 receptions and 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns. You don't have to come in and be Cooper Kupp. Just do your job. And I think that is the best part of the draft, and I think it's the best part of what the Chargers have built this offseason. This is what happens when you build your talent up in the offseason. This is what happens when you're able to do this when you have a superstar quarterback on a rookie deal. This is what you're able to do. You're able to get guys like this and potentially draft a guy like Devonte Wyatt and say, hey man, just come in and learn. Your learning curve is going to be expanded. You're not going to be looked at or counted on to come in and dominate. You learn, get better every single week. And then, when it's time for you to shine, then, you'll be able to shine the way that you need to. And, especially for a talented team like the Chargers, who do have a lot of, potential, and they have a lot of hope, especially down the future. So, but, I think that Devonte Wyatt would fit in really well with the Chargers. Like I said, if he's there, if he slides, there's some people I've seen one draft who have him sliding to like the bottom of the first round, which would be ideal for the Chargers if, they're definitely looking to, fortify the defensive line. Now that would be ideal, but I don't think that he's going to be there. I think the Chargers are going to have to. They're going to have to trade up if they're interested in acquiring Devonte Wyatt in the draft. But it's not unheard of. The Chargers have traded up twice since Tom Telesco's been GM, right? For Melvin Gordon, I think that was 2015, and they traded up for Kenneth Murray in 2020. So, it's definitely in the cards. Now, I don't think that it's likely, but it's something that should be acknowledged that it could happen because it has happened before. So that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. Devonte Wyatt would fit in really nice with the Chargers, but like I said, if he's there, then it's definitely a strong possibility, but I don't think that he's there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one. Hit the comment section though. Let me know what you think. Should the Chargers draft Devonte Wyatt if he is there? If he is available without trading up, should they draft Devonte Wyatt? But yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Please like this video. If you like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And that's pretty much all I got, guys. Till next time, I'll see you later.